She came to me nervous about presenting at a conference, and now she's about to sell out a storytelling event at the Sydney Opera House. This is a story of courage, creativity, and stepping into your purpose, and I cannot wait for you to hear it. Please welcome the wonderful and inspiring Monica Rosenfeld. I am so thrilled to have you here, Monica. Welcome.
Oh, thanks, Justine. It's great to be here.
All right, so take us back to the person you were, if you can remember all that long ago, 9 years ago. You had a conference presentation coming up. What did that fear feel and look like for you? And do you remember the sort of area that you were working in at the time?
Yeah, I was running my PR agency and looking for a way out. And the way out I saw was professional speaking, and did a bit of research on how to get some speaking gigs, even though it did terrify me. But I'm the sort of person that just jumps right in, and somehow managed to get a talk on a conference, something about PR and media. So I got the gig, and then I was like, oh shit, now I have to present. And talking in public was something that did make me nervous. I'm the sort of person who likes to be prepared for things. There are a few key things that I wanted to work on. So one, how to manage my nerves on stage and in preparation for getting on stage. Two, also how to put a presentation together that kind of lands the message. And yeah, I just felt that I needed some support in overcoming some of those fears. Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
I just needed some support in overcoming those fears, in jumping into something that I created, even though it scared me.
Yeah. And what was the worst case scenario that you were imagining? What were some of the thoughts going through your mind about what could go wrong?
Yeah, probably just appearing to be really nervous on stage. Let's say I knew I would be nervous. I didn't want to look nervous. Also having a blank, like forgetting what was going to come next, and then feeling like I was dying on stage. And also I really didn't have a clue how to put a presentation together. Like I didn't know how to make something flow, take my expertise and create a flow so that it would land. So I just didn't want to present a big mess. So probably they're the main things.
Yeah, got it. Thank you. And I've got my memories of when you joined the program, but what was that experience like for you? And what was the most significant shift that you felt during that time, if you can remember all that long ago?
Yeah, it was a lifetime ago, but I feel like the biggest shift was not worrying about what the audience was thinking of me, like that it's not about me, it's about the audience, and it's about the value you give your audience, as well as some of the grounding exercises and things that I learned to do before getting on stage. And really, I love the structure that you gave on how to put a presentation together. Yeah.
And what's really amazing is that after that first conference, your journey took a really surprising turn, I think, into comedy. It's such a huge leap from presenting at a conference to ending up in comedy. So,
Yeah.
what drew you to the comedy circuit?
Well, that was quite by accident. Curiosity led me to do a stand-up comedy course, and it was pure curiosity. I had no intention of being a stand-up comedian. I kept seeing things out and about and thinking, oh, that could make a good joke on stage, but having no clue how to write a joke or how to present it or anything. I did this stand-up comedy course, and it ended with a graduation show. And Jerry Seinfeld is right when he says that the first time you try anything new material, it's like being in your underwear. And the first time doing it for real, like doing stand-up comedy in public, it's literally not wearing underwear on stage. You're so vulnerable. But I took the tips that you taught me, but yes, comedy takes it to a whole new level. But I got on that stage and I did the grounding exercise, and I realized it's not about me and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, absolutely loved it, had a ball, and was amazed to see that people were laughing, and not just the people that I paid to come and laugh. And I loved it. And I had said to myself before that gig, if I enjoy it, I'll just keep going on this journey of stand-up comedy. If not, I'll forget about it and hope everyone in the room also forgets about it tonight, and that because they've had too much to drink. And as it turned out, I loved it. So I ended up getting onto the stand-up circuit over the next 5 years. And it's a process where you start at the very bottom in diabolical, dark places in Newtown. Yeah. And then, as you get better, you rise up the ranks and you get more curated shows and it gets easier. And then I ticked off my bucket list by putting on split bill shows, which means I created a show with 2 other comedians in the Sydney Comedy Festival and Sydney Fringe Festival. So yeah, it was very surprising. I am the sort of person that I'll jump out of a window and just pray that the wings grow on my way down. And that was very much the case with all of this, with comedy, with the conferences and everything.
Yeah, and I just think that's so courageous. It's like you unlocked a door of courage to try things that you probably had never previously thought of doing, including emceeing, and you were doing keynote speaking at one point as well. Just
Yeah.
amazing the different areas that you've gone
Yes.
into.
I found a love of expressing myself on stage. So I believe I'm a kind of a performer at heart, but that authentic me, which is the performer, was locked until I released the fear. And your program helped me do that. The stand-up comedy course helped me do that. And then just getting on stages helped me do that. It's exposure therapy at the end of the day. It really is exposure therapy. Yeah, but I found on stage, I love being able to express myself and share my ideas and share my thoughts. And yeah, that's the best thing about comedy. You can basically talk about all the things you've got opinions about, but in a way that's funny. So people laugh instead of wanting to kill you.
Always a bonus.
That's a bonus. I did have a couple of tomatoes thrown at me. No, not really. Yeah.
As long as they weren't too ripe.
Exactly.
And what I think is amazing is then, in some ways, you weren't just a speaker anymore because you'd done these sort of comedy events, as you said, at the festival, and then you became interested in creating more events. Where did the idea for a storytelling event come from?
I've always been obsessed with stories. I'm one of these people that have 12 books or more on my bedside table that I'm reading at least 4 at one time. Love movies, love theatre, love documentaries. So I've always loved losing myself in other people's stories. And with the comedy, as much as I loved it, it didn't feel in complete alignment. Something still felt a little bit off, a little bit. Even though I was enjoying it, it wasn't flowing the way I saw some comedians really flow, the ones that are really meant to make hit because it's completely in alignment. But I had an idea. I've had an idea for a while running my PR agency about putting on some sort of storytelling event. And then COVID came and lockdown and had an opportunity to reconnect with myself and slow down for the first time in over 2 decades. And after a couple of years of COVID and in our second lockdown, went for a walk with my husband and my very tired dog for the 10th time that day. And I said to him, I really miss the stage. I miss human connection and I miss storytelling. And he said, maybe it's time for us to create our own storytelling event. So I got really excited because I had the headspace to get excited about that. And we're still in lockdown. So it's not like I could go and do anything about this idea straight away, which suited me. And so we came up with this concept where 6 people from all walks of life share a raw and personal story linked to a theme of the event. And themes are always one universal word like courage, hope, connection, transformation. And the event's designed to break down barriers, stir conversation, and inspire positive change. So we put on our very first event in Feb 2022, and it was a huge success. People just absolutely loved it. And what I love about it, we're now 80 plus events in. We've developed Stories That Stir in several locations that run regularly across Australia. But I love providing a platform for other people to get on stage and share their story. Like, I feel like I've had plenty of my own time and I've seen how good it's been for me. And so this is a platform where all kinds of people like yourselves watching have the opportunity to get on a Stories That Stir platform, which is a safe place for you to release a raw and personal story to the silent witness, being the audience who are leaning in and listening to your every word. And in doing that, there's a shift of energy and a healing that happens. And it's just a beautiful thing to witness and to hear the feedback from storytellers telling me how incredible it was to express their story. And now they want to go and speak all over the place and write books and everything. This story was something that was stuck inside of them, and they have an opportunity to release it.
It's so beautiful, the impact that you're making. And you're 2 years in now, I think, right?
Yeah, about 2 years full time.
Yeah. And let's just go back to just before you actually put on your first event. Did you have any doubts about doing it? Were there any concerns that you had at the time before you actually did that first event?
Yeah, again, I was really nervous. I was just nervous because I just wanted to give people a really good experience. But because it was brand new and I'd never done it before, it was healthy nerves because it showed that I cared. But I wasn't putting on the event for any reason other than because it lit me up. And I'd read a lot about law of attraction and manifesting during lockdown. And this was my experiment in putting all that to practice. So it's not like I saw it as a future business or anything. So there wasn't a lot at stake, except to give people a really good experience. But as it happened, that very first event was absolutely magical. People were saying it's the best event they've ever been to. We had lockdown on our side and people were very thirsty for in-person human connection. But that gave me the real drive and motivation to keep going. And when I look back, it's incredible how I can't believe how nervous I ever felt about public speaking, because being on that stage is my happiest of happy places. I shine on that stage because it's my stage that I've created to do my own MC.
Yeah.
And I just absolutely love it. But if I wouldn't have done the work with you and on myself and things that I've done in terms of getting more comfortable with presenting, I just can't believe that all of this wouldn't be happening. And this is my life mission, and it's why I'm here on this planet Earth.
Oh, one of the things I really love about you is your boldness of your vision and your big picture thinking, which now really brings us to the Sydney Opera House. How does someone even begin to make that a reality? What was that process like that you...
Yes. So right at the beginning of Stories That Stir, my husband said, I see us launching from the Opera House to the world. And I was like, that's lovely, darling. Let's just put on our first event, shall we? So that was a couple of years ago. So we'd run, by the end of last year, we'd run quite a few events. We've launched all over Australia. And it was Christmas holidays, and I took a bird's eye view of the business and thought, okay, it's time to make a big, bold move. It's time to have an event at the Sydney Opera House. I just knew having an event there would get people to sit up and listen. Somehow it's got that, and it has. All I have to say is Sydney Opera House, and they're like, what? Oh my gosh. So that was that. Now, putting on an event at Sydney Opera House is not as simple as ringing up the events person and saying, I'd like to book a room. It just doesn't happen like that. So I brought my manifesting powers into place, and I set the intention that this is what I want. I said I want it on my birthday. Well, we're just 3 weeks after my birthday, but that's okay. And I actually spoke it out. So I made a video outside the Opera House, which I posted on my social media saying, we're going to have an event here. I don't know how, I don't know when, but that's not my business. I'm just telling you now, it's going to happen. And then a friend of mine, actually, who's a performer, he's a wordsmith and a magician, and he is one of our storytellers at the Opera House event, said, Monica, it's a venue for hire, and I actually have the contact details of the venue hire manager. So he did give me her details and I got that in. That didn't solve all my problems because they are really not that easy to get in there. But it just took a lot of patience and trust and just knowing this was our next step and knowing all we had to do was trust it and just keep taking one step in front of the other. Next thing we knew, we got the venue. We did get it on my birthday, but they actually only sent the contracts to sign a lot too close to 16th of September. So I knew I needed more time, and that's when I moved it out to the 7th of October. But yes, we're in there. Tickets just literally have flown out the door. Like I haven't tried, really. I feel like I haven't tried to sell it. It's just, and partners have come on, beautiful solar-aligned businesses have come on to support us. And yeah, everything feels like it's just happening like a magical miracle, really.
So amazing. And I think you're pretty much almost sold out. Is that right?
Yeah, we've really got a handful of tickets left. But this is just one of many events that we run at Stories That Stir. If you feel like if you want to come Stories to the Opera House, get on quick and try and get tickets. If not, we've got plenty of events coming up.
How can people get tickets? I'm happy to, I'll put a link in for
Yes.
people who do want to come and grab the very, very last handful. I think you've got around 20 left in the whole venue. Or
Yeah, I think
maybe
about
10 left
14 now.
Okay, so people are going to have to act pretty quickly if they
Yeah.
want to get in the room. But
Yeah.
and I'd love people to hear you and the wonderful speakers that you're going to have. And by the way, just congratulations on a really extraordinary achievement. And as you
Thank
said,
you.
doing it with ease because you're in the alignment. It's exactly who you're meant to be, what you're meant to be doing. It feels good to you, and people are
Yeah.
just drawn to everything that you're doing. And once you realize the event was almost sold out, do you remember the first emotion that you felt, especially thinking back to the person that you were 9 years ago?
I just feel such gratitude for the whole entire journey and everyone who's come along the way. So I feel enormous gratitude for that and the community that has been created and that is cheering me from the sidelines, including you, Justine.
Yeah.
But I also feel immense pride in myself because as I said, I am the sort of person that jumps in feet first. I want to experience life. I've always wanted to live a big life. But quite often, the things that I do are not comfortable. And anyone out there who's nervous about public speaking, but they want to try it, or even presenting in front of 5 people or 10 people, whenever you move through something that makes you feel a bit nervous or fearful, there is discomfort. But as the cliche goes, the pot of gold is at the end of that discomfort, because the things that happen as you move through any discomfort are just remarkable. Like, you will be gifted with the most amazing things that you can't even imagine right now if you make the decision to move through things that make you nervous. And you meet the most amazing people along the way, the most amazing teachers, the most amazing friends, partners in your business, and none of that can come about if you stay locked up and locked in, and not prepared to do the work on yourself it takes to get more comfortable with expressing yourself in a public forum, whether that be to 5 people or 50,000 in a stadium. And by the way, we're going to be in a stadium. I won't say next, but one day.
Got no doubt. I've got no doubt. If you want it to happen, I've got no doubt that will happen. And I was going to ask you, you pretty much answered this, but I was going to say, what would you say to someone who's watching this right now, who's exactly where you were, really nervous about an upcoming opportunity to speak, as you said, whether they're in a boardroom or whether it's a Zoom call or anything? What would you say to someone who's now where you were 9 years ago?
I would say just do it, but get the help. Because Justine's there to help. Read the books. Do it. Make the choice to not stay small. Make the choice to be visible, to be fully expressed. Because if you want an amazing life, that's the only way to have an amazing life. You have to fully express yourself and learn. These are all things that you can learn. These are not things that a lot of people are born with. Most people are born terrified of being in front of an audience, and you can learn them. And there are just tools and skills and all sorts of ways to learn them. And then it's just about taking one small step in front of the other. And it's very worth it to do that. So if you want to live a small, comfortable life, stay within your comfort zone and don't do anything. Just go and hide under your doona and watch TV. If you want to live a beautiful, expansive life, just step through that discomfort with the people around who are there to support you and watch the magic happen.
I love that. And I love what you said a moment ago about choice, that it's a choice. And a lot of people that come to me, I know, feel like up till now, they had no choice. It was nerves and either suffer or avoid it. And I love the word choice, because I really do believe we have the choice to keep feeling stuck and feeling awful, but we also have a choice to move through that, and we have to just find the right path towards that. And your journey really shows that overcoming one fear can unlock potential that you never even knew that you had. And I'm just so inspired by you. And I just think that you are inspiring. Your vision is inspiring. What you've unlocked is inspiring. Your story is inspiring. And I have no doubt that people will really want to see you in action that may not have seen you before. As I mentioned before, for anyone who does want to come to your show at the Opera House, if there's anything left, I'll put a link for the tickets below this. And I just know that this movement that you're creating is just going to get more huge and global and really impact so many people. And it just goes to show that when you're really living in that place of who you are without fear, or learning how to move through your fear, which I believe most people can do if they're open to it and they make the choice and decision to do that. Given your example, I really hope people watching this and listening to this really get how possible it is to take one step that can open up doors that you never even imagined possible.
Yeah, exactly. No, thank you. And yeah, I just recommend you do that.
Yeah. Thanks so much for coming in and chatting and inspiring so many people with your story and other people's stories, and providing a platform for people's expression. And as you mentioned, even their own healing journeys. So much has come out of what you've been doing, and I'm just excited to be there. Of course, I'll be there with bells on.
Yeah.
And if anyone else wants to be there as well, there'll be a link below. So if there's any tickets left, click on it and check it out. And otherwise, what's your website, Monica, for people who want to check out other events that you might have on?
So it's storiesthatstir.com. So you might want to check out other events. You might also want to share a story. So and practice being in front of an audience and sharing something of yourself. So there's a link there on our website to share your story. You can fill out a form if you wish.
Beautiful. I look forward to seeing you at the event. And
Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time to have a chat.
Thank you very much, Justine. Bye-bye, and good luck to everyone. You're awesome.
Thanks, Monica.
Bye.
Bye.